we are going to be doing an old segment. Some of you might remember it. It is called Ask Booksmarts. There is an email that you could email that is askbooksmarts@gmail.com. And if you email that email, I will get it and it might show up on the show. Today we have two Ask Booksmartses. Number one is here, and I will change my scene so that I can read it properly here because I got old man eyes. Hi, Booksmarts. I would like to hear your thoughts on the parasocial relationships viewers have with streamers, and consequently, my viewers' disconnection from real-world friends. Personally, I can relate to this due to the intellectual high and the itch that gets scratched when listening to streamers speak about essential things that seem out of the realm of normal conversation. Anecdotally, I have been fascinated with meta topics such as philosophy and how to live effectively in the world for as long as I can remember. But it seems that most people live in a very practical way. Almost no one I know in real life gives a shit about anything other than that which directly affects them. I have tried initiating conversation with friends about topics like ethics and meaning, and just as an experiment. I got the most unsatisfying answers. I low-key struggle to have friends that have given no thought to any of the why questions in their life. This is why I think there is a parasocial relationship with streamers. Streamers scratch this very narrow itch that must be scratched. So I'll respond to some different parts of this. So up at the top here, my general thoughts on parasocial relationships that viewers have with streamers is one who is rooted in time and connection, these two things. The more time that you spend listening to somebody, that they're in your ear all the time, you begin to connect. You begin to change the frequency at which you exist to match with their own. And this constructive interference results in a relationship that is stronger than it ought to be because you feel like you understand them. You feel like every time you agree with the thing that they say, that they knew that you agreed with it and that you're building this rapport that doesn't exist, right? And that's why if you meet them in real life, it's difficult because they don't know anything about you and that rapport just isn't there. They haven't shared that moment with you the way you have shared it with them through the stream. And beyond that, like that connection, that being at the same wavelength brings me to the end of this question about like, the parasocial relationship coming from this, this itch that must be scratched around philosophical questions. That's very specific to you. As you've learned from people in the real world, a lot of people don't consider these questions all the time. They don't think it's important. And when pushed into a corner where they have to talk about it, it'll be in vagaries because that's not something they really think about or care about, frankly. That being said, it's specific to you that you enjoy the streamers that you like to talk about that shit. And it is your lack of those people in real life that causes a disconnection. You feel so much at the frequency of this person, you can't get it anywhere else, so that's what you go for. But different people operate in different ways. I don't care to seek the answers to the questions of life when I watch XQC and Mizkif. That's not where I go for that, right? And lots of people watch XQC and Mizkif, or Moon, or these other folks, right? Asmongold gets closer to that. But I mean, like, people watch for different reasons. Your reason's philosophy. Your reason's the topics that you can't talk with normal friends about. Some people, that's video games. They have friends that think video games are gay or whatever, and they aren't able to engage about video games. Other people, it's the news. Other people, it's electoral politics, like with I'm Really Important. If you don't have people in real life that share the interests that you have, you are in a particularly precarious spot to be drawn into the orbit of somebody and turn very parasocial very quickly. And if you're not able to kind of manage that relationship, it can get more and more parasocial. The more and more time and emotional energy you invest in that streamer and your perceived relationship with them, the less and less of that energy necessarily, because this is a zero-sum game, is going to the people in your real life. It may even build resentment for the people in your real life. This is something that I try to be very careful with in the debate space by making everything about conflict and distinguishing yourself from the people that believe in things different than you. And by defining winning as like coming out on top in those arguments, you're buying into a meta and in a belief about the world that will impact the way you see the people around you. If you grow up in a very conservative area and you engage on Twitch and you believe that liberal people or lefty people always win all the debates and they have all the right answers and whatever, you're necessarily going to start thinking kind of negatively about those other people in your life if you don't actively moderate that. It's easy to slip into that. And this space has the potential to do that. You also start to copy the habits of your streamer that really, while advantageous to your streamer, are not advantageous to you at all. Like arguing with people over everything. The reason streamers get into the habit of doing that and get away with it is because they make money making content that is that. And it's fun to watch. But that doesn't mean that it gets you anywhere in real life. You debate everybody all the time about everything and are constantly looking for things you disagree with people on that you think you can win an argument about. And you are going to be a very disagreeable person that people are not going to get along with. Lucky you if you do find people that are willing to deal with you or have fun dealing with you, but you're going to be disagreeable to a lot of people. Same with these philosophy questions. Lots of people, their time, energy, their attention is invested in other things in their life. It's not necessarily invested in like life questions and shit. Maybe that's for a variety of reasons. Maybe number one, the answers that they have found in the past don't give them any helpful practical advice for what to do in their regular life. Maybe they don't really have the time and energy for that because their time and energy is invested in other things. Maybe they low-key know it's to their detriment if they invest that time. Maybe they have negative opinions of people that are into philosophy and those things, and because they've stigmatized the idea of thinking that way, they just disengage from it and don't even want to realistically engage in it given the opportunity. So I hope that kind of answers a lot of stuff or touches on a lot of the questions that you had here. Let's see our second question here. How do I transition my time spent reading and listening and watching into something that feels impactful? The past few years have changed my mind about how much I should engage with the world outside of my own perspective. I've changed from an insular, apathetic person into someone who is seeking other stories and other perspectives, but I don't know what the next step should be. I realize this is a topic that depends heavily on specifics, but I'm curious if you have any good general advice. I think my current hiccup? I'm not sure, is that I'm not used to wanting to impact others. I've spent my entire life happily consuming content from others and enjoying the passive knowledge that came from chasing idle curiosities. Aside from obvious answers like, do what you are passionate about or do what you are talented at, how can I stay focused on doing something rather than nothing? How do I change into someone who is active instead of passive? So I'll avoid the two things that you put. Do what you're passionate about, do what you're talented about. You put something in here that gives me an answer that's different than those. It might be a better compass. You ever seen Pirates of the Caribbean with the compass that doesn't point north, it points to what people want? Let's figure out how to get that compass going. You said you want to do something that feels impactful. Let's use that as a compass. That's an intuitive feeling. What have you done in the past that has made you feel impactful? What do you predict that you could do that makes you feel impactful? And let's try to think of what's within your grasp. Let's think of something that bothers you that you think somebody who is a bystander could fix that they're not. Like with me in this drama shit. Why doesn't anybody organize their viewers who are highly educated on these drama topics to help them farm out research and come up with educated opinions? Why don't we do drama coverage that's objective, that establishes timelines, that does what Stephen has done in various manifestos and documents? Well, if you think somebody else should do it because you think it would be doable, do that thing. Be the person that you expect a bystander to be. Do that. Or look to the past and think about things that have been impactful. If I look at my own life, volunteering is a very impactful thing. Well, what kind of volunteering? I don't know what to do, Booksmarts. Well, have you ever done volunteering? What have you done? Look up volunteering my city and then look at that. You can go to the library and ask. People don't know this, but librarians are like a treasure trove of information. You could, like, there's a lot of like city things you could go to ask these questions as well. Figure out some kind of volunteering opportunity. And here's another thing. Talk to people that are already doing something. Who do you think is impactful? What are they doing that you think is impactful? And what is stopping you from either doing that thing or doing a lesser level of that thing? So if you think, my friend Richard, Dick does a lot of impactful things. I saw Dick down at the homeless shelter the other day and he was giving out food. And then this weekend, Dick went on a trip up to the beach and he cleaned it. Or Dick fucking went to this political rally and he helped these Starbucks workers unionize and whatever. Go talk to Dick. Kind of like in the last question, if you don't surround yourself with people that have your interests or do what you think is impactful or focus on the things that you think are important, you're kind of playing yourself. You should maybe try to find those people. So if Dick is doing impactful stuff, ask Dick what you could do, right? Or in this case, you're asking me because maybe you feel like I do impactful things, but I don't know, find somebody local. That'll be easier for you. And you'll be able to build a real relationship, not a parasocial one with those people. And then you meet Dick's friends. And then you become friends with Dick and all of Dick's buddies. And then you continue on from there. Surround yourself with people doing cool shit. And then you'll feel like you're doing more impactful stuff. Let me go ahead and go to the end of this. Is I'm not used to wanting to impact others. Yeah, I guess here's another thing. Don't expect that you're going to 180. You're going to become a person who does impactful shit all the time. If you're somebody who's usually introspective and has made a habit of spending all your time on yourself, this could just be something you want to dabble in, that you do once or twice a month. So don't think that you need to jump in and do a gazillion things. You could have Dick, who's your one friend that you contact every time you're feeling this way, and you just go piggyback on what Dick's doing. You piggyback on Dick. And if you piggyback on Dick, you'll have a fun time. And then if you find a Dick in your life that's fun to piggyback on, then you piggyback on it when you feel like it. Sometimes you feel like, hanging with Dick, and you just go hang with Dick. And that's totally fine. It might be that 80% of the time you're happy with your life and then 20% you want Dick. It's okay. There's no judging there. So I hope that answers some of your questions. I hope that's helpful. Booksmarts, you all right, bud? I'm getting tired, dude. I'm getting real fucking tired.